My mind all the time. Studio. Da da da. Studio. What's happening? Whoa! What is happening? I'm a little early. I went a little early today. I was eagerly anticipating this episode. Now, yesterday, I have to. BlackCat apologize. The BlackCat. That guy, I'm gonna apologize to you guys. This is heartfelt. Now, I had a little problem with my chiclets. One of my tooths. It was causing me some discomfort during chewing, things of that nature. So I had to go get it looked at. Well, I had a hairline crack in the tooth. My indestructible teeth apparently were not strong enough to stand up to, I don't know, it's probably like a popcorn seed or something got me. I don't know. It's probably vaping. Vaping's probably what cracked my tooth. I should probably report that to the CDC. I'm going to report that to the CDC immediately after this show. Now, I had to go get it fixed. Well, as you know, the lovely, voluptuous Veronica she works at a dentist office. So I went to her dentist to get it taken care of. Now, during this, I was told that I'm a terrible patient. She's like, you're a terrible patient. I was like, why? They put a TV. So when you're getting worked on, they put a TV directly in front of your face. It's like on this arm, and then the arm comes down and like puts it right in front of your face. So I'm fucking watching TV. And they're making all kinds of noise. Drilling, stupid stuff the dentists do. I was like, can you keep it down? This is like a really important part of the show, and I would catch this dialogue. Couldn't hear it. So anyway, they put a crown, temporary, on my tooth. Now, when I got home yesterday, like this whole side of my face literally felt like it was that big. And I was like, if I would have came on here, you guys would be like, BlackCat is drinking again. Is this guy drunk? He's drinking again. Look, I couldn't talk. I literally couldn't talk. It was hilarious. Like, I was trying to talk, I couldn't. Well, today, the temporary crown, it came off. Because apparently, you're not supposed to eat 3 Musketeers bars when you have a temporary crown. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I was chomping away on a 3. Yummy. It was just, it was delicious. You ever had one of those? It's like this, like, creamy, chocolatey type stuff in it. It's fantastic. I had that, and apparently you're not supposed to eat one of those while you have a temporary crown, or it will pop off. And that is exactly what happened today to me. Welcome to your Vape at 5. I'm back, baby. I'm BlackCat. I am happy to be here. Yeah. So, what are we doing today? Now, today usually would be review day, Dustin Kendall. You would probably be saying the best review you've ever seen in your entire life, and exactly everything I tell you is 100% the truth. Truth, non-biased, perfect. Everything I think is perfect and say about an item is perfect, as you guys know. But we can't do that today. Today is too important. It's too important for you, Charles McLaren the Baron. Too important for this nation. Too important. Last couple of days, there have been several committees put together by Congress. Congress, they're pesky. Congress is like, they're like the little brothers or sisters. They're like the little brothers and little sisters of government. That's what Congress is. And they're mad. And there's lots of them. There's lots of them, and they're typically really pissed off about something. Because they only get to serve for like 2 years before they have to get reelected. So they've got to constantly be like outraged about something in order to keep their name in the news and continuously get elected. Now, I watched both of the committees regarding vaping. The primary theme of these committees were to put the fear of God in you if you have ever used an electronic cigarette. That was the primary theme. The first committee is run by this guy, Representative Congressman Raja. He's from Illinois, and he is in the Dick Durbin fan club. Him and Dick Durbin, they are super, super cool. And he's literally, this Raja guy, this congressman, he's like 5 foot tall. He's pretty small, and he's very upset. Very upset. Well, he runs this committee, the Ways and Means Committee. I don't fucking know. One of those committees that they think they put together so that they can Congress things. That's what they do. But he runs that committee, and they had the chief medical officer of the CDC, this lady on there, and talk about looking uncomfortable. You would have thought she was testifying in front of a firing squad, because she was so uncomfortable. She was up there just yeah. They're like, well, what? Well, what information do you have? She's like, well, we know it's an e-cigarette that's causing all this. They're like, well, that is exactly what we wanted to hear. An e-cigarette. She's like, yeah. So they go through and the first one side of the to the left or right of the Raja, the committee chairman, to the right of him are all people with D's next to their name. They got the D's. They're all to the right. And then to the left, it's like a school dance. It's like a school dance. You got all the guys to the left and all the women to the right. But in this sense, it's not men and women. They're mixed. But you got the R's. And the R's, they're to the other side. Well, the D's, them D's nuts. They do not like the e-cigarettes at all. The D's they're not supportive of e-cigarettes. And they were questioning the medical lady from the CDC. She wouldn't really confirm anything. She basically just said, hey, we know there's a problem, and we put out a warning that nobody should vape. And the D's, I like calling them D's. I think that's funny. The D's were throwing her hanging curveballs. They were just like, hey, do you think this? And she'd be like, yeah, we think you should not do that. And dunk, and she'd knock it out of the park. Well, she got to the R's. And the R's are like, well, we're hearing that it's black market THC that's causing this problem. And she's like, well, we have tested some of the products that did have THC in them, but it wasn't all of them. Not every one of them we've tested. He's like, oh yeah, well, which ones have you not? Which ones have you tested that don't have the THC in it? She's like, about 20%. He's like, okay, which one was it? What product? We don't really know. We don't really know which product it was. Well, wait a minute. So you're saying there is an illness going around that is caused by e-cigarettes, that you've tested some of these. Well, we leave that to the states. So wait a minute. The states have tested. Well, which products are they saying that we need to take off the market immediately? She's like, e-cigarettes. All of them. I'm like, wait a minute. So you're not able to pinpoint anything, but you're saying it's e-cigarettes, but you don't know which ones. And you're testing, but you're not really testing. Well, our systems are antiquated and they're old, and we have to really sit down and compile all this information. We don't have the ability to have all this. So wait a minute. You're the Center for... Now, they didn't ask this, but this was to me. I've been like, wait a minute. You're the Center for Disease Control, and you don't have the ability to antiquate data and put data together? Isn't that your fucking job? Isn't that like what you do? You look at diseases and find out what the problem is and try to pinpoint what's going on so you can warn the nation? Like, isn't that your fucking job? Well, she really tiptoed around that. And she wouldn't like say, oh, we know it's this, all we know it's that. No, she would not tell you what it is. All she kept saying is, we just tell people not to use any e-cigarettes. Well, unless they're, don't go back to smoking, but just don't use e-cigarettes. So there's like no happy medium there. Well, the second part of the panel, and I won't go too much more into this, but second part of the panel was much more entertaining because they had a mom whose daughter got really sick from vaping, which is fucking awful. And she didn't really, she didn't belong up there. This guy, Dr. Rizzo. Dr. Rizzo basically said that PG has got 80 toxins in it. PG. What is it called? Glythol, whatever the fuck it's called. That stuff has 80 toxins in it. And it's just as dangerous as cigarettes, really, to him. Now, if you've seen this fucking guy, this guy literally looks like the most unhealthy guy I've ever seen in my entire life. He literally looks like, when I think of unhealthy people, like this guy looks like the most unhealthy. Look him up. It's Dr. Rizzo. Look, like, I'm not taking any medical advice on good health from this guy ever. He also said, this is the best. He said that the Royal College of Medicine study on e-cigarettes was bogus science. There's bogus science. That's not even true. Which was echoed then by the chair. Well, there was an exchange, and if you saw the picture, that lady on the picture, her name, she's a D. She's a D, and her name is Tlaib. Congresswoman Tlaib. Now, one thing I noticed about Congresswoman Tlaib, and I like her style, she matched her purple lipstick with her purple sweater, and I thought that was really sweet. And I thought that, she probably made that sweater. I could see her like crocheting that sweater and like thinking, I'm going to wear this at the next congressional hearing. This will look great on TV. Well, she got in like a sparring match with this lady, Mrs. Porter, who was one of the people who basically, Mrs. Porter was on the committee. How she got there, I have no idea. But it was really fantastic because she represented us. And not only she represented, she did a really fucking good job. She really did. I thought that she hit it out of the park. Like, she was basically like, yeah, her whole story was, I smoked for 23 years. I couldn't quit. I tried everything. And she did name this entire list of things that she tried. And then I tried vaping and it worked and I quit and I use flavors because that's what I like. And, if you take this away from me, I'm just going to go to the black market and get it, but I'm not going to stop. She brought the Royal College of Medicine. That's how we got Rizzo on it and that fucking quack. We got him on it. So, the Royal College of Medicine says 95. Because what happened was it went back to the committee chair. And the committee chair said, well, there's absolutely no proof that says e-cigarettes are safer than cigarettes. And she's like, well, that's absolutely not true. Like that's unfounded. That is completely not true. The Royal College of Medicine said in a comprehensive study that it's at least 95% safer than smoking combustible cigarettes. And he's like, well, you just ignored that. And that's when he attacked the Royal College of Medicine and said basically that they're a bunch of quacks. Which, I mean, that to me is that basically, for anybody that knows anything, that's throwing in the towel in your argument. You know what I mean? That's throwing in your towel. That's arguing about something and be like, well, NASA says that, the moon is like this, that, and the other. And the person going, well, NASA doesn't know what the fuck. Well, the NASA's fucking been to the moon. So, yeah, they know some things about the moon. Now, I don't know if they've been to the moon or not. But they supposedly went to the moon. At least they built a really nice movie set that resembled it. All right, so that was the committee. That was the committee yesterday. The one today was pretty bad. The one today had Sharpless, who's a guy from the FDA, and it had the CDC lady again back on there. And basically what the CDC is doing, the CDC is basically stepping away and taking absolutely no responsibility for anything. They're like, well, we just don't think you should vape. But the FDA is the one who has to enforce that, right? And then the FDA is like, yeah, well, we don't want kids vaping. We don't want people dying. And, he mentioned, he's like, well, so ultimately through this entire testimony today and yesterday, all illnesses that we know are caused by vitamin E acetate in oil that is in THC cartridges from companies is causing the illnesses. But All the last 2 days of Congress, of these committees, not one person said that. Not one. They did say that they blamed it all on e-cigarettes. They blamed everything that is happening to the public on e-cigarettes. So that's what's going on in your Congress right now. That's what's going on in your government. Everything that we know has been totally discarded. The CDC will not admit that the FDA says that they have tested and that a large part of them do contain THC, but a lot of them don't, and that they believe that it's also e-cigarettes and nicotine only that is causing this problem. So that's where we're at. Takeaway from this. There was a really great, the D's were talking today, and there was a really great moment where this lady, this D from New York, and just an older lady, and she was pissed. And a lot of the ladies were pissed off. And I get it. Like, if you don't know anything about it and you keep getting told that people are dying from this shit, just fucking ban it. Like, get this shit the fuck out of here. What is wrong? But you're not being told all the facts. And if you don't know all the facts, it's really hard to make a decision. Well, she was a little bit older lady, and she basically, without even knowing she did it, she almost got the FDA to say that, it's black market. She almost got him to say it. But I don't think she was trying to push him that way. But I can't remember the exact exchange. But I kept as I was watching it, she's like pushing him down this line of questioning. And she's against e-cigarettes completely, 100%. But she doesn't know the difference between it. Like, he kept saying this, and she's like, well, we're talking about e-cigarettes. What the fuck are you? Like, she didn't even know what he was talking about. And he's like, well, that is, and he, like, it's this, that, and the other. Like, she didn't understand there was a difference. Like, she's like, oh, e-cigarettes, it's all the same thing to her. And she, like, almost pushed him into a corner where he had to say that there was a black market. Like, they don't want to say that. They don't want to say there's a black market. That's, like, the worst thing that could be said. Because once they say it's a black market, then what can they do to stop it? Nothing. No regulation can stop it. And ultimately, that's where we are. There's no way to stop it. Now, I've got a few things, a little bit of information I'm going to pass on to you guys. That's the summary of the last 2 days. There's probably more people that had really excellent summaries of what they saw in the last 2 days that you can bring up if there's anything that I forgot. You guys know I forget everything. But we're going to talk a little bit about the current state of what's going on or what I'm seeing in vaping right now. Because it's been really an active 2 days. They're putting the thunder down. I think the 160 million that Bloomberg pumped into this whole ban flavors really kickstarted everything. It really did. Nothing changed until he did that. When he did that, that shit started to happen. That's what money does. That was money. But I have some pretty interesting information on Mikey B. I do. And now I don't know if it's true. And none of it's verified. But I don't really give a fuck if it's verified or not. Because, quite frankly, more than likely, it makes sense. And I'm going to say it anyway. What's he going to do? Sue me? What are you going to do, Mike? You're going to sue me? Sue me for what? You going to sue me for my vape shop? Sue me, Mike. Bloomberg. Sue me for my vape shop. Come in and shut it down. Seriously. Take my vape shop from me, Mike. You fucking 4-foot dick. All right, so here we go. Let me have a drink of coffee because this is gonna get fun. So, this motherfucker says, is there a possibility those guys made non-THC counterfeit Juul pods and fucked up those as well? So the thing about the Juul pods is there's a way that you can refill them. There's a device they sell that you can put a Juul pod in and it'll allow you to refill it. Yeah, it's a little thing that you can buy second. So I don't know if it's actually Juul pods. I heard they're called Dank. But to them, everything is Juul. To them, everything is Juul. But I've got an interesting story about Juul too. Juul, we'll start it off with that. Juul got a new CEO today. They had a new CEO. I think it was last night. The current CEO has stepped down. And the chief marketing officer or the chief something investment officer from Alteria, who is RJ Reynolds, now, or Philip Morris, now is the CEO of Juul. So they basically have a tobacco guy running Juul now. So as this all continues to happen, you start seeing little moves of the master plan here. There's like a plant, trust me. There's so much money involved in this. There's like steps to how this is going to be done by the people who really want this done. I mean, it just makes sense. It's so coordinated and so rampant and so aggressive that it has to be driven by money, by somebody's like trying to keep all this going, right? Well, one of the first moves is they moved the Philip Morris officer to the CEO of Juul Labs. So now, Juul Labs is run by Big Tobacco, literally. Literally. Not only an investor at 35.5%, but now they run it. Now one of their guys runs it. So Juul Labs has completely stepped out of they've basically stepped out completely. And they're like, look, we don't care if you ban flavors. We don't give a fuck. Go ahead, ban them. They don't care. The reason being is because they know their products are still going to sell. They don't have to sell flavors. They don't know that. This whole flavor thing has nothing to do with protecting kids, has nothing to do with Juul. What it has to do with is basically crushing the mom and pops, getting them out, and getting rid of all the hanger-oners. They just want to get rid of anybody, get them completely out of the way, and then it allows whoever is going to take over this market, which it appears to be Big Tobacco, but they're going to have a competitor. They're going to have a competitor, and we'll get into that, to take it over. It's about control and getting rid of the competition. It's ultimately what it's about. It's really, unfortunately, it's not about kids. Will kids' access go down? Yeah. Will kids' access to dangerous stuff go up? Absolutely. Because ultimately, what these flavor bans are going to do, they're going to force kids to the black market. I mean, it'll solve the teen problem temporarily. It will. It'll solve it for maybe a couple months. It'll be like, hey, kids aren't vaping anymore. We fucking did it, man. We did it. And they'll be patting themselves on the back. And all of a sudden, kids are going to start getting sick again. And it's going to be a lot worse. It's going to be a lot worse. And they're going to be like, holy fuck, what the fuck's going on? Be like, well, wait a minute. You mean the flavors weren't making them sick? No. Flavors were making them sick, dude. It was the fucking shit in those THC. We fucking told you 6 months ago before you did all this shit. We told you that. But no, you're seeing what's really happening. So that ultimately, kids are going to get access to black. Because how do you regulate the black market? Huh? How do you regulate it? Tell me, Raja. Congressman Raja, do you know how to regulate the black market? I don't know how to regulate it. It's pretty unregulated. Unless you're like Pablo Escobar, you're not going to regulate the black market. It's just going to fucking basically run itself. So that is where we're at. But what else it's going to do? It's going to drive other businesses out of business, at least for the short term. Now, there's ways around it. Each state is going to be different. Now, here's another thing, another piece of advice. There's going to be no federal flavor ban. I'll tell you that right now. There's not going to be at least not right now. There's not going to be a federal flavor ban. No fucking way. Trump's got enough shit going on. He's not going to do it. And what he's going to do, two things. One, he's going to let the FDA enforce the PMTA. FDA's timeline of the PMTA is moved up, and they're going to enforce it. And if you are not approved by that program, whatever the fuck they do, which cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to get approved by, you're not going to be able to sell any e-liquid in the United States of America. Now, under consideration, they're going to allow flavored e-liquid after you prove that it's a benefit to the health of the nation, which I don't think cigarettes have to prove that. I don't think cigarettes have ever proved that they're a benefit to the health of the nation. But that's where e-cigarettes are. So you notice he says that, and he said that today, and it got me thinking about something else. I'm like, well, yeah, he's going to allow it. Yeah, they're going to fucking allow flavors to come out when the flavors are controlled by who? Either by Big Tobacco or Pharma. And then they'll let them control. They'll be like, oh, yeah, well, these are a benefit to the health of the nation. You know, these are good ones. We're going to let them go ahead and do these. So that's ultimately what's happening. That's kind of the setup question I saw today. I was like, oh, yeah, you're going to allow flavors. But so anyway, they're moving up on the PMTA. That's what the FDA is going to do. That's what we're going to do nationally. Meanwhile, states are falling like fucking dominoes all over the place. You know, we started with Michigan and then went New York and then California tried to do it, but that guy didn't have enough power in California, which is kind of funny. It's kind of funny because California, like, everybody's got to make a fucking decision. Like, so basically, why did you ban Tommy? Tommy just got banned. The sesh. What did Tommy say? Jane hid Tommy. Tommy's a sesh, Jane. That's Tommy Vapers. Or it may not. I think it is him. Unless somebody else copied his account. Oh, maybe. Fuck, I don't know. Anyway, so States are falling like dominoes, and it looks like Massachusetts just fell. Fucking Connecticut met with Connecticut governor met with Como today. Oh, Como over met with him, and so they're gonna ban. Um, States are doing different types of bans. I believe the one in Massachusetts is 3 months, and it's everything vape related. Like there, you can't have anything. If it looks like a vape, if it looks like something, sir, is that a gun? Yes. Okay. Well, it's not a vape product. No, it's not a vape product. Okay, you're fine. Move on your way, sir. Carry on. Like they're banning everything related to vape. They're like, well, fuck it. We're gonna ban everything. Now, so the states, that's what they've decided to do. Now, New Jersey is probably next. They had a meeting, and I haven't heard a whole lot about it, but I heard it was really positive. I heard a lot of people showed up and really helped. And other states are having meetings as well. Michigan's trying to push back on it. New York, I don't know how much traction they're getting up in New York. California, I don't really think there's much hope in California. LA just passed a complete ban or a flavor ban or some kind of ban. You know, they ban stuff out there. They also beat people and have riots. But hey, they like to ban stuff too. That happened. There's just a lot going on. Other states that are kind of iffy right now. I know Ohio, like we have a rally for October 1st. Haven't heard much from DeWine. On it. DeWine has an R next to his name. So I don't know what his intentions are. I think politically, the safe move politically is to disband it. That's the safe move politically, because I think if even for a state governors want to be, they want to be more than that. They all have political admiration, to try to be something more. The next step, obviously, after a governor is really executive branch of the federal government. I mean, governors run for president. If you're a good enough governor, fuck, Bill Clinton did it. You know what I mean? There's a lot of governors up. So did George Bush. George Bush the second, Jr. George Jr. He was a governor of Texas. They run for fucking president. So I don't know if DeWine. I think politically, if he's looking, then probably banning it would probably be the best, because then he could come in as a moderate and pick up some of the middle of the road vote. I don't know if he's going to do it or not. I mean, he's not going to get much support here, but the problem with it is you only have a certain percentage of people that vape. And then of that percentage, you only have a certain percentage that really give a fuck, right? It's not an issue like, it's not an issue that affects like half the population. Like, for example, an issue that affects half the population is a woman's right to choose. That affects half the population, half the women. So you have a much greater number of people that are passionate about that. You know what I mean? Whereas vaping doesn't affect half the population. You know what I mean? Affects what? I don't know what percentage we are. Maybe like 8, 9%, maybe less, probably. Yeah, 4%, something like that. So you only have 4%. So it's not like you're going to get mass numbers. But the safe play for anybody who's looking for they're looking for to keep running or do something else is probably to try to ban it. I mean, that's at least what I see from just kind of looking at it as a whole. I don't know. DeWine is pretty fair. DeWine's a pretty fair guy, and I don't particularly dislike him. I don't particularly like him. I mean, I don't know. He seems like an all right guy. He's been very, kind of touchy on the marijuana issue, which I think, I like that. I think it should be. I definitely think medically it should be allowed. Definitely, allowing it, unrestricting it, allowing it for just anybody to buy it. I don't know if that's such a great idea. I don't know, but he's been really cautious about it. And I think that, I think that's the right play. And I think he's going to be about the same way with this. But I think he's going to listen. I've talked to his office a couple of times, and I think he's going to listen. And I think he'll make an educated decision. I don't think he's going to come out and be tyrannical about it and just be like, banned! You know what I mean? I don't think he's going to do that. That's going to, the East Coast, the Northeast can keep that. The Northeast, which is mostly D's, they can keep that up there. I don't think that's going to get into the Midwest. It doesn't look like. I don't know, if Illinois is going to go. Illinois, if they haven't gone already, they're going to go, because Illinois has got a big constituents of politicians that are against it. I don't know who's feeding them money up there, but it's going to go. It's going to ban. More than likely. I know Fagan was up at a meeting in Chicago. I don't know if that was just for Chicago or for the entire state. I would assume it was just Chicago because if it was for the entire state, it would be in Springfield or Champaign. No, Springfield. Springfield's the capital, isn't it, of Illinois? So that's where that would be. So I think that was probably just, yeah, Lightfoot banned it for Chicago. That's right. The mayor of Chicago, Lightfoot. That's her real name, Lightfoot. She's Lightfoot. She banned it for the city of Chicago. Sash was arguing with himself, the son of a bitch. So, is it PG in an inhaler? Yes. No, I think, yeah, PG is in an inhaler, yeah. Yeah, that's pharmaceutical PG, though. Completely different. I don't fucking know. It's, dude, let me tell you. It has nothing to do with what's in it. It really doesn't. Don't think that. Don't think that. There's no argument against it either, because if you're going to say irrational, stupid things like the Royal College of Medicine is a bogus organization that put out bogus or information, think about that. Think about that for a second. Just sit and think about how powerful of a statement that is. Not powerful in a good way, but powerful in just a negative way. You're going against, the Royal College of Medicine represents, for the most part, an entire country. At least in my eyes, it does. And I think with a lot of Americans, it does, probably all over the world. One of the, a very well-established garter of health for an entire country. And you're just going to say it's a bogus, they've made a lot, with that study has led to a lot of policy change on e-cigarettes in their country. They've promoted e-cigarettes in their country. They have vape shops, vape availability in hospitals, promoting people to stop smoking and start vaping and live a healthier and use a healthier alternative to cigarettes. They've based their entire population, they based their whole policy on that. And for somebody just to say that's a bogus study, think about how powerful of a statement that is. That to me is one of the most irresponsible things that could be said by a politician for the United States, and it's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. It really is. It makes us look like a bunch of fucking buffoons. Not really so much that, because I think most people who are really following this issue like as closely as, maybe not, I'm following it pretty fucking close. I really am, because I think it's a really, I think it's such an amazing time in history. It really, really is. I've never seen anything like this in my 45 years on this planet. I've never seen anything like this where something comes that could actually benefit the health of the citizens of this country and it being demonized like this and knowing the truth. And I think that's the problem. Like, I wish I didn't know. I wish I didn't know the truth. You know what I mean? I wish I was just some fucking sheep walking around that didn't know, because it'd be easier. It'd be easier. But I'm really following it closely because it's so unique of a situation. And seeing, my point was going to be that other countries see us and look at us a bunch of fucking buffoons. But I think when you really, really look at it, what they see is just corruption. That's what they see. They see big business and industry running this country. And that's what they see. And it just verifies that with a lot of other people. And I'm sure when they sit around and talk about it, they're like, fucking Americans. That's what they do. Their fucking businesses run shit. They don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck about the health of their country. Come on, man. They're all about money over there. And that's exactly what they care about. And it's embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing. It makes me embarrassed. It really does. And it makes me sad. And I've talked about this before, but it makes me sad too. It makes me sad because I feel like, we're better than that. We deserve better than that. And I've always been proud to be an American. I've been just all the time. I've always been proud to be an American. And like right now, I'm embarrassed by it. I really am. And I wish there was something that, you try to think of a solution. I don't know if there really is. I think we're down this road now that it is relentless. The attack on vaping is fucking relentless, and it's not going to stop until they win. They don't lose. And when I say they, I don't know who the fuck they are, but whoever is really pumping money in this. I mean, we know Bloomberg put 160 billion in, but he's just a bragger. He just wants to get his name in the headlines. There's other people putting money in it. Absolutely. And they're going to win. That's what happens. Few things to talk about. I got a couple talking points here. One, apparently there's a new product coming out by a pharmaceutical company that is like, they're not saying it's a vaping product, but it vaporizes nicotine and it also uses PG. So they're not saying it's a vaping product, but it pretty much sounds exactly like a vaping product. It's going to get FDA approval. The fun thing about it, and the thing is so great, is one of the major investment firms that is putting money in and backing this is funded by Bill Gates and guess who? Mike Bloomberg. So the fun that and this is an article that Angela Garrett put out yesterday. It's on Twitter. I read it on Twitter, reposted it. If you want to go look at it, get on Twitter. If you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter. If you care anything about any of this information, get on Twitter. Get on Twitter and see. I reposted it the other day. It's an article by Angela Garrett, who's a fucking phenomenal person, really, really great advocate for this industry. But yeah, she breaks it down of this new product that sounds a lot like a vaping device. I mean, a lot like a vaping device that isn't considered an e-cigarette because they don't have to call it that. So it won't be regulated because it's not called an e-cigarette. There's like some way around that. These guys don't fucking lose. They figure shit out. They grease the right people and they're going to get it through. And it's funded by this big organization who is basically funded by Bill Gates and Mike Bloomberg. Now, that's a really interesting thing. If Bloomberg put 160 million in to kill the vaping industry and then turns around and releases a vaping product, like how fucking dirty pool is that? Like what a piece of shit. What a complete piece of shit. He's going to destroy an industry, ruin lives for thousands, tens of, not hundreds of thousands of Americans, and then turn around and make money on it. Well, there's a plan. That's what I was saying. There's a plan. So that is out there for you to read. Now, is it tinfoil hat time? Maybe. I don't know. A lot of folks going live right now. Yeah, great. Now trucking's live, man. There you go. Start the competition and put out your own product. That's really classy. Yeah, exactly. So that is one thing that is being promoted. The other thing with the Juul, the new CEO, I already mentioned. There's a really interesting exchange yesterday during the second half of the committee meeting. Congressman Raja's committee. They had a lady on there. Her name was Mrs. Porter. I think I mentioned this before. She had a really interesting little jabbing session with this Tlaib lady she's from Michigan. She's a representative from Michigan. And it was absurd. It was really absurd. The lady, it was so fucking embarrassing. Like, I'm watching this, and this Congresswoman, Tlaib, she's like, well, it's like, I wanted to learn a little bit about you. Are you, you put yourself down as a former conservative, Marxist? And this lady's like, I don't think my political affiliation has anything to do with the reason I'm here or anything's about that. She's like, well, yeah, but are you a conspiracy theorist? And she's like, what? Conspiracy theorist? And she's like, yeah. She's like, I saw you wink over here at somebody. So you think there's a conspiracy going on here? And she's like, I was winking at Congressman so-and-so. I know him. He invited me here. We're actually friends. Oh, well, I just want to make sure you didn't think there was a conspiracy. And she's like, you think there's a conspiracy here? That's what that Porter lady said to her. It was really embarrassing. It was completely embarrassing. It was so petty. And it was almost high schoolish, really, this whole exchange. And then at the end, before she drops the mic, or tried to, she's made herself look like a complete horse's ass, is what this Tlaib lady did. And then before she was done making herself look like a horse's ass, she said, well, you still smoke. And she pushed the mic away. And he's like, I don't smoke, and I'm not lying under oath. Basically, you guys are lying, I'm not, and I don't smoke. It's pretty interesting. If you get a chance to watch that, it's pretty fucking funny. Try to find it somewhere. Big Red, absolutely right. I'm ready. I'm ready to get arrested for this bullshit. I'm looking forward to October 1st, and I'm not looking forward to it in a sense that It's going to be such a grandstand. And I know PAVE will be there. And PAVE is Parents Against Vaping E-Cigarettes. They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. And they're going to bring a bunch of kids. That's what they're going to do. They're going to bring a bunch of kids that all testify and say, please take these away. I don't want to be addicted to nicotine. And, how do you argue that? You know what I mean? Kids are dumb. They're going to get up there and do that. And it just, they play the emotional card, and the facts don't fucking matter. But we'll see what the city of Columbus. I don't know. We'll see what the state does. State of Ohio. I'm a proud Ohioan. I have faith in my state. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. Columbus is, a fairly educated city, diverse, educated. I feel like we'll be okay. I feel like there's enough people with enough sense that we can probably talk. But I don't know what the political pressures will be. And like I said, going against it is the safe move. Going against vaping is the safe move right now. It really is politically. I mean, if I was in a political position, I would, man, I don't know. If that's your livelihood, I mean, that's why politics is such bullshit, because everybody's out for their own shit. And that's why, people who actually have a conscience don't enter politics, because you can get compromised so easily. You really can't stick to your guns. That's not how that works. I mentioned that. Here's one thing I wanted to talk about. This is going to be fun. So this is something I wanted to bring up to you guys. Now, the states are banning stuff. They like to ban. They're banning it. Ban. You get a ban. And you get a ban. You get a ban. They're banning stuff. Now, here's my question, states. Governor, here's my question. Govy. So, you're going to ban it. Yep, we're going to ban it. Okay. How successful were you in regulating your state for the last, 50 years to keep tobacco out of the hands of children? Do you have a state law for that? Oh, yeah. It's 18. Oh, okay. Well, did you have teen smoking then? Yeah. Oh, yeah. We've always had teen smoking. Okay. So how did you keep those tobacco out of the hands of kids for the last 50 years? Well, we have regulation. We regulate that. Oh, you did? Okay. Well, did you enforce it? Oh, yeah. We enforce it. Okay. Enforce it? How did that enforcement go? Pretty good? Well, it looks like vaping spiked in your state. How did you enforce that? Now, how old do you have to be to buy a vaping device? 18. Did you enforce it? Oh, yeah. We have registration. We have regulation. We enforce that. Okay. Well, it looks like 1 out of 10 people or 1 out of 10 kids are vaping in your state, according to statistics. So did you enforce the law? Well, yeah. We really, really tried. So now, this ban, that you're going to ban everything. How are you going to enforce it? You're going to enforce it? How are you going to do that? Tell me. I want to know. How are you going to keep black market e-cigarettes now out of the hands of children and adults? How are you going to enforce that? I'll wait. You tell me. How's that going to happen? Because it's not. Because it's not about protecting kids. It's not about enforcement. It's about driving businesses out of business. That's what they're trying to do, and control the market. That's what they're trying to do, and that's what they're successfully doing. Is they're going to crush this economy. They're going to drive out competition, and then like 1 or 2 companies are going to step up and take it over. And that's what's going to happen, and they're going to get patted on the back by the FDA and the CDC. I don't know what they'll do. CDC is really worthless. I didn't know how worthless the CDC was until recently. And it's pretty terrifying. It's pretty terrifying how fucking worthless they are. It's sad. It really is. And it makes me terrified that there'll be a real disease outbreak in this country. I don't know what the fuck they'll do. Tell you, we'll be in trouble. We'll be in fucking trouble. If those idiots are running it, we'll be in fucking trouble. So my question is, how are you going to enforce these bans? Aside from putting businesses out of business, putting people out of work, making your economy tougher, running industry that's making, some of these businesses make upwards of $250,000 a month. You're putting them all out of business. So you're going to lose that revenue. Okay, that's fine. I'm sure you'll figure that out. But how are you going to enforce it? How are you going to keep me from getting my liquid? How are you going to keep Big G? Well, Big G's not in this country, but how are you going to keep Tracy from getting it? How are you going to keep Tracy's daughter from getting it? How are you going to keep my daughter from getting it? That's what I want to know. So tell me, how are you going to do that? You're going to enforce it. You're going to regulate it. You're going to regulate it. Enforce it. Okay, well, how's that worked for you? It worked pretty good. Did that with marijuana too, didn't you? How'd that work? Pretty good. Busted people, pulled them out of cars and shit for smoking joints. That is pretty cool. That's a good look. That's a good look when you pull somebody over and you're like, "You've been smoking weed," and they pull them out of the car, handcuff them. That's a good fucking look. That really makes me feel safe and comfortable the police are actually doing their fucking job. Now, you're going to have people getting pulled over. Like, you're going to, like, do, like, e-juice bus? Is that, I mean, you're going to have to enforce it. Okay. So how are you going to enforce it? Are you going to have e-juice raids? That's what you're going to do? Nicotine raids? You're going to raid nicotine? You're going to go into people's house, kick their fucking doors in, and go grab nicotine? We found 900 milliliters of e-liquid in this house. Is that what I'm going to start seeing on the news? 900 milliliters of e-liquid found in this house. And it'll be some dude who looks just like me, who's a fucking ex-smoker trying to quit smoking and using e-cigarettes to do. Is that what the enforcement's going to be? Anybody who has e-cigarettes, say you give your buddy an e-cigarette to help him out. Are they going to try to pin that on you and then say, well, now you're giving them to kids? Well, no, I gave it to my friend. Well, your friend has a son. Did you think about it? Yeah, I did, because I don't want my friend smoking. I don't want him dying so that his son doesn't have a father. Or, yeah, his son doesn't have a father. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But question is, how in the world are you going to enforce an unenforceable law? And what else that makes me feel by these people so adamantly doing it, it's grandstanding. It's really just for political means. It really, really is. And I think it's going to backfire on a few of them. I think we'll backfire on a few of them because I think there's enough of us that will cause enough ruckus that we can maybe sway a little bit of the vote. And 1 or 2 percentage points is all it takes to knock one of these guys out. That's all it takes. 1 or 2 percentage points. A lot of these guys are in close races. If you take 2 points away from them and give 2 points to somebody else, who knows? Could swing the vote. And I tell you, man, when election time comes, I won't forget any of this. None of this. I will not forget any of it. So another reviewer said something about state troopers. I did hear that. That was Massachusetts, that he was sending out state troopers to go visit. Think about those poor guys. The state troopers are like, really? That's what we're doing today? We're going to vape shops? Are you fucking kidding me? Kids telling adults how China. That's how the Gestapo used to be too. Is your fucking kids telling your parents. You know, I don't know if lawsuits will come from this. I hope, but the biggest thing that fund lawsuits is money, and where is that money going to come from? This money that was funding the fight that we had from the VTA was basically from sales. And if you take away the legs, if you take away or cut our legs off from under us, then what do we have? I can't fund it. None of us can fund it. The millions of dollars that when you go up against like a state, they will grind you, man. They will grind you. That's what they do. They have unlimited resources. They'll grind you until you just quit. And that's what they fucking do. The IRS, like you could sue the IRS right now for paying, you could sue them. You can't because they'll grind you and they'll make you can't outlast them. They have endless amounts of money and they will throw shit at you until you stop. And that's how it works. So I don't know. Maybe enough press will come from them, but the press right now is so bad that I bet over 50%. I mean, and this is another sad statistic, and I believe it, is over 50% of the population thinks vaping is worse than smoking. Yeah. Think about that. And think about how just unfucking stoppable the propaganda machine is. I mean, it's breathtaking. It's really beautiful in a way. If you look at it from like a perspective of control, it's beautiful. They've convinced over 50% of this nation that vaping is more dangerous than smoking. Smoking kills 480,000 Americans a year. 480,000, almost 500,000, right at 500,000. And they've been able to convince over 50% of this nation that something that has killed no one is more dangerous than something that kills 480,000. Think about that. It's pretty fucking amazing, man. It really, really is. And you got to hand it to them. You got to hand it to them. You know, they started with the exploding devices. But once they found the kid angle, that was it. And then this whole thing with people getting sick was the topper. And that's when they dropped it into high gear. As soon as that happened and they could ride that narrative, they dropped it into high gear. And that's when the doors really came off. That's when everybody's like, oh, fuck. That's when the band started. As soon as they could get their opening, as soon as they saw their opportunity, they struck. When I say they, I don't know who they is. They are the people who have tons, and again, they have tons of fucking money that are pumping it into this fucking anti-bullshit. Not just the American population, you know. And here's another point. Big G brings up the rest of the world. India! Did you know in India they don't have toilets that you like shit in a hole in the floor? I heard of that. Somebody told me that. I was like, really? They're like, yeah, you bend down and shit. I was like, I couldn't bend down like that. I wouldn't be able to take a shit there. I'd have to find a toilet. They probably do have toilets, like some places. They're like, I'd be like, hey, dude, you got a toilet or hole? They'd be like, hole. I'd be like, okay, I'll go to the next restaurant. So, hey, shit in holes over there. It's so funny how unique and different people are. Like, I'm not saying that as a knock against them. That's not what I'm saying. It's just crazy. Somebody told me that. It's like the only thing I remember. He like told me this whole story about his trip to India. He went to like, I don't know, somewhere in India, maybe New Delhi. I'm just guessing, somewhere in India. And he told me the whole story and about all the wonderful things he did and like all the great food and all the people he met, how fun it was. And he just really enjoyed it. People are great. And he just really had a great time. But the one thing he told me is they shit in a hole in the ground. I was like, and that's the only thing I remember. Out of everything he told me, I was like, shit in a hole in the ground? He's like, yeah. It's just a fucking hole. You just walk up and blot down, take a shit. Like, I couldn't do that. He's like, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. It's like, that's crazy. Yeah. Anyway, India, in all their wisdom. Now, India, they've got us beat in cigarette deaths. 10 million people die from smoking-related illness in the country of India. 10 million. 70% of the male population in India smokes combustible cigarettes. But they're going to protect kids. They're not fucking around over there. They're going to protect children. They banned vaping. I can't make that up. I can't make it up. I mean, what? Like, you have, like, we want to protect kids. We're trying to protect some kids. So, look, them kids, they love vaping. We're going to get rid of that. So, look, this 10 million, this 10 million people that are dying, 70% of males smoke. What, you know, is that going to go up? Can that literally go up? Think about that. 70%. Can that even go up? Like 30% of the population, like how can that go up? Like that's unfucking believable. 70%. They're worried about vaping. Yeah. It's a fucking joke. 10 million versus 5 deaths. Yeah, well, it's 8 now, Clint. What's up, Clint? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, Hask. I didn't say hi to everybody. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Yeah, I am here to bring information to the masses. Well, 45 people, the masses. In my world, that's the masses. I don't know what I'm having for dinner tonight. I'm not sure. I'm hungry though. I'm just gonna be something good. I'm getting something good with my half tooth. I got a half tooth back there, no cap on, no crown. It's all bare. She's like, "Is it sensitive?" I was like, "Hold on." I got a glass of like ice water and like drank it. I was like, "Ah!" Yeah, it's fucking sensitive. Coffee's kind of hot, but I'm like swooshing it. That's out of my face. Yeah, the 30%. 30%. The 30% are going to start smoking. Yes. Heard 10 about an hour ago. 10. What's the 10? 10 million? What's 10 million? How many people die every year in India? Yeah. Yeah, searching houses for your e-liquid. So that, like, how are you going to force it, Govey? What are you going to do? Like, really? Do you have the resources to enforce it? Like, I mean, you've already gone mad with the marijuana stuff for years and years and years and years. The war on drugs allowed the police force to militarize, but they don't even have, like, the numbers to, like, think about that. How fucking uncontrollable that is. Like, what are you going to, next thing, are you going to ban taking shits? Like, how do you ban people from taking... It's like you have to do secret farting. Like you can't fart anymore because if you fart... Wait a minute. I think Bob just farted. I think he's going to go take a shit. Should we turn him in? Let's call. Yeah, Bob. Bob just farted. It was super, super loud. Yeah, I think you need to send somebody over here. He's looking like he's gonna take a shit. I think Bob's. He might be shitting right now. I can't tell. Like, you're gonna ban taking shits. Like, how do you enforce that? Bob, how's your stomach feeling? It feels great. You don't feel like you're not having any pressure. Your lower abdomen. No pressure in my lower abdomen, sir. Well, you look like you're going to. You look, sir. You look like you're going to take a shit. Let me tell you, I could tell. I've been doing this job a long time, Bob. And I could tell when a man needs to take a shit. And you, sir, have that look. You look like a shitter. You look like you're going to take a shit, Bob. So I need you to put your hands behind your back. You're going downtown to the big toilet downtown. No shits allowed, sir. Like, how do you enforce it? I smell pecan pie. Wait a minute. Is anybody baking a pecan pie in here? No. Okay, who's vaping? Who just blew out a luscious cloud of pecan pie? I want to know right now. I'm going to go around and smell people for nicotine. Veronica, okay, so this is funny. Veronica should probably work for the police now. She should probably move to New York or Boston and work for the police. Veronica says she can smell vape. I'll come home, she's like, you smell like your vape. I'll be like, no, I don't. It doesn't get on my clothes. I don't smell at all. She's like, you smell just like your vape. I can smell it. No, you can't, Veronica. It's in your fucking head. It's in your head. She said she can smell it. I don't know. Whistleblower. I will be a whistleblower. I'll be a shitting whistleblower. Don't shit around me, Tracy. When the shit ban comes, don't try to take a poop. You better hold it. And if I see you creep into the bathroom, I'm fucking calling the police. 2 ounces of marijuana with no flavored e-liquid, yeah. $5 a poop at the community bathroom. That would tax poops. They should tax. That would be a good racket. That'd be a really good racket. They ask if they tax poops. Do you imagine? Yeah. You ever like, this used to be a thing. I don't know if it's a thing anymore, but like gas stations used to have like a quarter machine on the stall. Do you remember that? You had to put a quarter in to like open the stall door. If you didn't have any fucking change, like sitting there like getting ready to shit your pants, like, like trying to get in. Crawl under the thing on the gross floor. Trying to crawl under to get in there to take a shit. Occupied! Can't get out. You got to crawl back under. I smell custard. Put your hands up! Is that a gun? Yes. Okay, well, you're fine. Carry on. I already did that joke. Was there anything else? Oh, yeah. So, ultimately, here's the last thing. We'll go back to the bans and make more ban jokes. But here's the last thing. So, what I've taken away from these meetings is basically it's come to a point where something's going to happen. I don't know. The world as we know has completely changed. Okay, so I think we just need to accept that. The world's changed. Our world is vapors in the United States of America has changed, at least for the time being. There are a lot of players in this. And when people keep dying from from lung illnesses and things like that, they'll explain it by just saying they need to put stronger enforcements on e-cigarettes. That's ultimately what's going to happen, even though it's going to these THC cartridges are still going to be fucking killing people, but they're ultimately just going to keep blaming it on us. I don't think they'll change that. So anyway, that's been an hour. I went off for an hour. I've been holding that in. I really have. Like, I just sit here and shake my fucking head, and because they're not dumb people. And that it must really suck to have a job where you have to act fucking stupid. Like, that would suck. But that's what they have to do. They have to fucking be stupid and act like they're doing the right thing, even though they know they're not. My wife says she can smell it on me too, says Joseph. Yeah, Veronica says she can smell it. All right, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I'll give you one more minute, and then I got to get out of here. I got to figure out what I'm going to eat for dinner. CBD can help you aid in nicotine. Well, that's good to know, man. We should talk more about that, Tommy. That's something we should talk about because I think people are going to need information like that. It's really, really good information. Even when people do nothing. You know, Clint, I agree. I think that I have faith. I have faith. We talked about this before. I have faith. And I think that everything will ultimately, things are happening for a reason. And sometimes it's not up to me to understand that reason. And that's just the way it is. That doesn't mean that we can't fight it. And we can't do commentary on how fucking stupid it is. At the same time, we have to accept what happens. We have to accept it. And we have to move forward. For me, this show, the giveaways, all that will continue. All that will continue until they shut me down. And I don't think I'm big enough. I think I stay under the radar. Like, I really stopped worrying about getting subscribers. Like, I really stopped because I don't want to get any bigger. I really, really don't. Now, not saying that there's a chance I'm going to become this huge. No, I'm not saying that. But I'd like to stay like right where I'm at. To stay under the radar. We'll keep doing our shows. We've got our little group, our little family here that will do the shows. We'll enjoy each other's company, have fun, and do giveaways for, cooking oil and whatever we decide, and just move forward. And that's what we'll do. And then, I think a lot of the bigger guys are going to have, God bless them. I don't know. We're going to have Mike Vapes on Friday. Mike Vapes will be in the Vape Hot Tub with Charlie and I on Friday. We're going to talk a lot about what's going on in his state, in the Northeast, and just get a general feeling for Mike. I love Mike to death, and I just want to talk to him a little bit. So I'm bringing that to you guys on Friday. Charlie and I are, which really, really looking forward to. Mike's such a great guy. It's just so honored that he would even come on the channel. So really, really excited for that. So that will be Friday. Tonight on the YouTubes, you got Heavy Metal Vapors on at 9 o'clock, and then you have Golf T Vapes at 10:30. Tune in, guys. We'll see you there. I'm sure they'll be talking about the same stuff. Love you guys. Hope you guys have a fantastic night. Get on Twitter and have some fun. See you guys Friday in the Vape Hot Tub.